The next song we're going to sing was a #1 back in 1981. Here's a song called The Streets of New York. I was 8 years old when I went down to Dublin with a fistful of money and a cartload of dreams. Take your time, said me father, stop rushing like hell. Remember, it's not what it seems to be. For the fellas would cut you for the coat on your back or the watch that you got from your mother. So take care, me young bucko, and mind yourself well. Will you give this wee note to me brother? At the time Uncle Benji was a policeman in Brooklyn. Me father, the youngest, looked after the farm. While a phone call from America said send the lad over, the old fella said sure it wouldn't do any harm. For I've spent my life working this dirty old ground for a few pints of porter and the smell of a pound. Sure, maybe there's something you'll learn, I'll see, and you can bring it back home. Make it easy on me. So I landed at Kennedy and a big yellow taxi carried me and me bags through the streets on the way. Well, me poor heart was thumping around with excitement. I hardly even heard what the driver was saying. We came in the short pathway to the flatlands in Brooklyn, to my uncle's apartment on East 53rd. I was feeling so happy, I was humming a song, and I sang "You're as free as a bird." Well, to shorten the story, what I found out that day was that Benji was shot down in an uptown parade. While I was flying my way to New York, oh, Benji was lying in a cold city morgue. Well, I phoned up the old fella, told him the news. I could tell he could hardly stand up in his shoes. And he wept as he told me, go ahead with the plan, but not to forget, be a proud Irishman. Whoa! So I went up to Nelly's beside Fordham Road, and I started to learn about a lift on a load. But the heaviest thing that I carried that year was the bittersweet thoughts of my hometown so dear. I went home that December, cause the owl fella died. Had to borrow the money from Phil on the side. And all the bright flowers and grass couldn't hide the poor wasted face of me father. I sold up the old farmyard for what it was worth. Into my bag stuck a handful of earth. Then I boarded a train and I caught me a plane, and I found myself back in the US again. It's been 22 years since I've set foot in Dublin. The kids know to use the correct knife and fork. But I'll never forget the green grass and the rivers as I keep law and order on the streets of New York. Come on, let's hear you. Da 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 da.
Well, that was the #1 for the Wolfe Tones back in 1981. But 10 years before that, we had our first #1 record. It was the fastest selling record of all time in Ireland. It even beat the Beatles. I said it beat the Beatles. Elvis Presley. Michael Jackson. U2. There's nobody beats the Wolfe Tones.